Do you like the Hawk Tuah girl? Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Do you like spit on your thing? Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Have you ever watched the Talk Tuah podcast? Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
What's it like to get slop from someone you love? Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Do they teach you how to give hawk without the tuah? Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Have you ever given Hawk Tuah? Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Do you dream about being on Talk Tuah?
Talk Tuah.
What's it like to have never met the Hawk Tuah girl? Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Did you vote for Hawk Tuah girl as president? Talk Tuah.
Talk Tuah.
Within Hawk Tuah. Talk Tuah.
Within Hawk Tuah. Talk Tuah.
Good evening. I'm Little Crispy, and today we're going to be doing something a little different from my usual fare. A deep dive into memes! Specifically, this critter right here. I didn't know how popular she was until I decided to do a little research for this. My god. But before we get into that, I'm going into this, no diddy, from the academic lens. As in, I'll be using the scientific terminology of meme as the basis of this research.
Scientific terminology?
Yes. For those of you who don't know, a meme is a scientific term coined by one Mr. Richard Dawkins in his book, The Selfish Gene, which I actually have a copy of right here.
Hello.
Let's see here. Ah! The new soup is the soup of human culture. We need a name for the new replicator, a noun that conveys the idea of a unit of cultural... Look, all you need to know is that the word meme is a combination of the words gene? You know, like viruses and stuff like that. And the Greek word... memema? Memema. Yeah, okay. Anywho, let's dive right in, no diddy. I haven't figured out transitions yet, so that'll do. Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Not Batman though.
Where the actual f*** did she come from? I was chilling in bed one day, minding my own business, one lovely summer morning, probably butt-ass naked too, and I wake up and I'm bombarded with several hundred clips of this woman say how you need to Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. And I know we as a collective have found much worse videos and clips to be much funnier.
21.
But am I just out of the loop here? What is the joke? Why is this so funny? Anyway, I've got two questions I want to try and answer with this video. One, why is she so popular, and to what extent, because I don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. And two, why do people hate her so much? Because, trust me, she has got a lot of haters. Righto, let's go. The Hawk Tuah woman is one Mrs. Hailey Welch. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because that's how I'm going to pronounce it for the rest of this video. Age 21 at the time of being filmed, apparently from Belfast, Tennessee. Who was recorded by a team of guys called Tim and D TV for an Instagram video on June 11th, where she started spitting facts and encouraging others to spit on that thing, and it went mega viral, and I still don't know why, so I hope this research actually leads me to an answer. Let's start by laying the timeline out bare so we can unpack this whole thing, shall we? The Hawk Tuah timeline. As I understand it, most of it is just word of mouth or unverified. June 11th, the incident happens. It blows up a few days later. For the first 2 weeks, apparently Mrs. Welch and her friend were scared to leave the house, and they didn't get any money from the original video, and when they asked Tim and DTV to take down the video, they refused, whilst they continued to make money. Which, kind of not gonna lie. Anyway, on the 20th of June, Mrs. Welch teams up with Fathead Threads, and with them she signs and sells hats. Very good, very good. Get the bag, get the money, baby. During this time, she quits her job. I don't know when. They don't all have dates, alright? I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. At some point during this time, she also signs up with a management company called The Penthouse. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. On July 1st, she has her first podcast appearance with, Plan Bree Uncut. They are very good at coming up with names for these bitches, goddamn. And by this time, she's already got a team and a camera following her everywhere. Mrs. Welch then moves to LA where all the money is, and I'm assuming it's because her management team is based there also. And then she starts doing appearances in clubs and venues and shit, such as a Mets game in the MLB. A club somewhere in Miami, Day Club, however you're supposed to pronounce that, I'll put up on the screen, and a whole lot more, which I can't find from the depths of my research, that being one Google search. Then, she creates the Talk Tuah podcast, and that brings us up to the present, as of the time of recording this at least. And I do hope you all appreciate the trouble I went through to make this video, because I had to do the one thing you knew I was gonna have to do at some point during this research. I watched the goddamn Talk Tuah podcast. Fuck! All jokes aside, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, not worth watching, but not worth hating. I mean, looking at the comments though, whew, boy. I was an alcoholic, abusive, and single father of 9, but as soon as I heard this beautiful and exquisite piece of art, I was flabbergasted. I am now a governor, astronaut, and self-made millionaire. Thank you, Hawk Tuah.
Thank you, Hawk Tuah. I'm Gilbert Reed.
I'm a 41-year-old surgeon. Mid-operation, I got an important message that the Talk Tuah podcast was released. I dropped everything and rushed home immediately. Thank you for saving my life, Talk Tuah. I was diagnosed with type 6 testicular cancer, and I was getting surgery, but then my surgeon left me mid-operation when I was about to die. A notification came on and rang through my butt cheeks. Then I saw the Talk Tuah podcast was on. Ever since, I've grown 4 pairs of balls. My perception of life has never been so clear, and my uncle stopped touching me. Thank you, Talk Tuah. I have the extension that lets you see dislikes. I don't think it's 100% accurate, but it is an indication. To be fair, the podcast was just kind of boring, not worth a dislike. This is probably just a dislike mob. Yeah, look. Memulus says it's, quotes, genuinely terrible. Come on, man. This thing cures a man's testicular cancer. It cannot be that bad. You know, one thing I have noticed in my research is that Mrs. Welch is a very approachable and jovial personality, or at least it seems like it. You know, a bit of the old southern hospitality, you know, that hootenanny redneck charm, you know, which I suppose probably contributes to her popularity. I don't know. Oh, and here's one thing you might not have known. Mrs. Welch has actually used her fame and stardom to start a dog shelter charity called Paws Across America. That's pretty cool, I think. And one thing I must mention before I move on is that in the episode that I watched, it felt a lot more like her guest star. Mrs. Whitney Cummings is conducting the interview more so than Mrs. Welch, which is interesting, but it makes sense considering how she's like a big-time comedian who does shows and Joe Rogan, gets Botox, and is clearly very accustomed to this kind of thing, whereas, you know, Hailey is just like a normal person. It's an interesting case to observe in which the subject of a meme not only enjoys their own stardom, but makes a lucrative business out of it. I honestly cannot think of another case this big, but I can't think very much in general. My brain is small, it's got no wrinkles. And that is just about all the context you should need. If you want any more, go and watch the Talk Tuah podcast. It may help you with your flu, hay fever, and other viruses and conditions. Anyway, let's get to the questions I originally posited. Why is she so popular? Here's a case study from that book I was talking about earlier, from Dawkins. So Dawkins goes on about, he cites this research done by a guy called P.F. Jenkins, who did a study on a bird called the saddleback that lives in New Zealand. According to him, the bird had 9 distinct songs, and a male bird would sing only one or just a few of them. The birds separated into dialect groups, think of, like cliques, niches, interest groups, that sort of thing. Descended from the larger whole, but distinct in and of themselves. By comparing songs of fathers and sons, Jenkins discovered that the songs were learnt not genetically, but passed down through the offspring, adopting the song of their territorial neighbours for imitation. We can observe the same transmission of ideas in human culture. The male birds learnt their songs in the song pool of the culture, but sometimes Jenkins observed the creation of a new song, created in the incorrect recreation of an existing song. That new song could then be passed down to the younger birds, an event you could describe as a cultural mutation. Keep that in mind. You will be needing it later. Or don't, I'm not your boss. Think of a meme. Where did you find it? Why is it funny? Doesn't matter. Other people find it funny, so you also find it funny.
Hey y'all, come look at this!
Like when bro says some shit and he be laughing, and he start laughing, so he laughs harder. That's what it's like. When multiple people find one thing funny, it becomes funnier. And I'm not just talking out my ass here, I got a study to back this up. It was observed in 3-month-old babies that in response to the laughter of adults, they'll smile and laugh as well. Despite, being babies and not being old enough to actually understand the joke. They just like the sound of laughter. When a group of people find some stupid shit funny collectively, I'm going out on a hunch and assuming that we're all doing something similar. We find the presence of laughter amusing in and of itself. And it's like this with all memes, really. Well, except those real niche things that only you and like 12 other people understand.
The Insanity SMP. It's hardcore Minecraft.
Think of the gene pool. We inherit certain genes from our ancestors that they evolved to have over time, like opposable thumbs, the ability to speak, lactose tolerance. The list goes on, really. The same way we inherit these genes from evolution, we inherit ideas like language, how to position toilet roll, the pronunciation of the word Worcestershire. The list goes on. Any idea, video, or sound is a meme. The real question is of how viral it is. So, going back to lactose tolerance, a lot of people aren't. In fact, most of the world isn't. It's only for some of us our ancestors saw cow titties and were like, hey meow. And over time, we evolved a gene in our biological makeup which allows our bodies to digest milk without going... Now that doesn't mean all genes are created equal. Actually, some are pretty shit, to be honest. For example, our skeleton is absolutely fucked because, honestly, we haven't really finished evolving. We still have a bone for our tail that we don't have. Our leg bones aren't designed to carry so much weight. We're halfway through transitioning from walking on our knuckles to 2 legs, which is why we'll end up with chronic back pain. And our brains are slowly killing themselves when we get too old. Look, here's an article I found from the BBC. Humans underwent a series of rapid evolutionary changes that allowed us to grow bigger brains, with more neurons devoted to the outer cerebral cortex, the area responsible for higher-order cognitive reasoning. In fact, human brain size nearly quadrupled in the 6 million years since Homo sapiens last shared a common ancestor with chimpanzees. However, many of the genetic tweaks which enabled these changes are now associated with disorders such as autism and schizophrenia, according to recent research. Is a very interesting article, you should read it. Anyway, the same way we inherit bad genes, we contract and spread bad memes, like they're a virus. For example, racism. And we spread things that we don't like much more than we spread things that we do. You see someone posting some absolute horse on some website somewhere, makes you crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. You spread that thing that made you mad, you know, through reposts, you send it to the group chat, you talk about it with friends and family, and now hey presto, you're all mad talking about this maddening thing that makes you mad. It sticks in your brain nice and good. Like a virus. So, with that in mind, Hawk Tuah is not very funny. To me, I mean, and a lot of other people too, honestly. People unironically loved Hawk Tuah, and we thought it was stupid, so we started getting a laugh out of ironically being reverent of Hawk Tuah. Some people love Hawk Tuah, some people despise Hawk Tuah, some people find the whole situation funny, some people had their testicular cancer cured by Hawk Tuah. We've got all these, you know, contrasting, varying opinions on just one single topic, and it becomes a breeding ground for discussion. You know, Hawk Tuah merch spotted in public, he gets a knee-slap laugh from the fans, hysterics from the casual, meme-informed observer, and seething rage from the haters. This meme reaches a point where it's in a positive feedback loop. For those who don't know, a positive feedback loop is when one thing causes another thing to happen, which causes other things to happen, until the things happening snowballs and grows exponentially. Yeah, there's a real-life example. Think of fruit ripening. When the first fruit on a plant starts to ripen, it releases a gas called ethylene, which causes other fruits to ripen as well. When they ripen, they also release ethylene, and so other fruits start to ripen, yada yada, you get the idea. One person finds Hawk Tuah hilarious, they spread it. Others find it terrible, they spread it. Now everyone's spreading it and talking about it. Positive feedback loop. I kind of tricked you with the opening. Yes, I'm trying to answer 2 questions, but they actually answer each other. Oh, I put a little sneaky on you. So you got popular first, then people started to hate her, which caused the meme to spread, only making her more popular, and you get the idea. Like any meme, it's an idea that has gone viral in the meme pool, a disease we've all caught that's now in a positive feedback loop of discussion. I mean, what am I doing right now? Why are you watching this video? Memes! But one thing it really stands out for is just how long it's stayed relevant. Now this is completely anecdotal, so don't say this, but I, personally, have noticed memes have a longer lifespan nowadays. The creativity in utilizing recent memes has expanded from just funny images spoofing real life and fiction to genuine artistic expressions of the world. Which is, you know, that's pretty cool, I think. Hawk Tuah woman is, at the end of the day, just a normal person like you and me, discussing what has been a bit of a taboo for people to talk about historically.
Sex.
I mean, it's not so much of a taboo now, but people still clutch their pearls over this shit, don't get it twisted. And the only reason it's not so much of a taboo anymore is because of the countercultural movement and sexual revolution. Another meme that we've inherited. We inherited a less prudish culture, but the remains of that prudishness still exist within our minds. We know it's a little risque to talk about spitting on that thing to make a man go crazy in bed. Perhaps some of this is coming from our own subconscious desire to rebel against the standards of etiquette. Hawk Tuah may actually be the vessel to which we can vent, through a comedic lens, our cultural freak.
But I see freaky memes on my timeline all the time. What makes this any different?
Well, there you are. You see freak memes all the time. You, yes, you the viewer, probably see quite a lot of them too. That is if your For You page looks anything like mine, which I hope it doesn't, because my FYP is just filled with half-naked women and car crashes. I don't even know why. Now, you take the meme Freak Bob. Try and explain Freak Bob to a mid to late 20s person working 9 to 5 at a little desk job, scraping together enough cash to maybe one day buy a house. They work for a living. They don't got 72 cubic hours spare every day to absorb niche meme culture. Why is SpongeBob freaky? What is Freak Fest? Who are you? How did you get in my apartment? But Hawk Tuah. Now that's a meme for the whole family right there. That's a meme you can show your uncle and he might get a chuckle out of that. That's something you can put on Conan O'Brien.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Or a t-shirt. Or a hat. Not Freak Bob. Freak Bob is not going on Jimmy Kimmel. At least I hope you don't. Hawk Tuah is popular, I think, because it's a meme normal people can get with. It's for people who listen to podcasts at work. Go to watch Rock the South. Browse their chosen social media platform no more than an hour a day and see a dozen memes in between posts of their friends' holiday pictures from the Maldives, crypto scams, and clips from, you know, early 2000s movies.
Bazinga.
This is actually the one thing in the video I haven't done any research on. I'm just assuming all of this. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Hawk Tuah has had a cultural impact probably greater than we give it credit for. Any other meme like this could have and would have died by now. But the Hawk Tuah podcast is doing... Well, I mean, it's doing a lot better than I'd have expected, I say that at least. It'll peter off eventually, in fact, I'd say it already has. Here's the Google Trends data on Hawk Tuah. Trust me, it's not at the peak anymore. But Hailey Welch, the Hawk Tuah woman, woo, boy, I think she'll be around for plenty of time to come. For as long as the normal, casual, meme-enjoying public wants a medium through which they can collectively hail the bizarre, absurd, and freaky taboos in an environment accepted by the larger culture. For as long as Mrs. Welch provides people with that old country charm. And as long as she continues to surround herself with the biggest names in online entertainment. Oh, you bet she ain't going nowhere. Yeah, used to it. Or just do what I do and press the not interested button. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube. I barely saw any memes about any of this before I started my research for this. Like literally, the meme got popular, I saw one or two, I didn't see anything. You can press a button, and you can press a button, you just tell them, I don't want to see this no more. You motherfuckers is tripping, I'm gone. Thank you all very much for watching. This is a very different video from my usual fare, so I hope you don't mind the change of pace. I'm not doing like a complete content pivot, you know, like Emblem Star, nothing like that. More content, more videos to come, so stay tuned. Just before I leave, let's go through the readings I did, just in case you want to check them out yourself, you know, cross-reference my shit and just be like, I read it, you're wrong, dumbass motherfucker. Okay, so Richard Dawkins' The Selfish Gene is a good book. It's the only one I actually have physically, the rest I got like online and from the library. That's cool, you should try them out. This one by a guy called, and I'm gonna mispronounce this horribly, Gabriel yeah, French, I believe, and it is a book called La Loi de l'Imitation, or The Laws of Imitation. Very cool. This one, again, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Gabriel, this one's got an E at the end. Gabriel Marino. I'm saying this like it's Spanish, I'm fairly certain this is also French. But they wrote an article on the semiotics and virality, which is pretty cool. I watched a CGP Grey video. If you know who that guy is, you should check him out. But I watched a video and I thought it was pretty good, but he linked an article below and I went and checked out that article, and that was pretty good. So here's CGP Grey, but here's the article he's going on about by some people called Jonah A. Bug and Catherine L. Milkman. Yeah, just making me hungry. Let's just hope you're not lactose intolerant. What makes online content viral? Very good, very good. And I'm not even going to pronounce, or at least try to pronounce these names, but they worked together and they did a book called Humor, Perception, and Creation Between Parents and 3 to 6 month old infants. Anyway, that's about it. Bye-bye!